Ghost, I figured, you know what? I'll just do a live show. After the show, live show. So let me go ahead and do a sound check like always. Sound check. Sound check. There we go. Cool. All right. So no one's on here yet, so I'll just go ahead and just kind of talk about upcoming figures that I may open soon for those that are not watching live. So I got this really cool Spider-Man, and I've been looking for a cool Spider-Man forever. What I like about it is it fits pretty good with He-Man size figures, which is what I've always wanted, was a Spider-Man to go with my He-Man figures. Now it'd be cool if he was super bulk built like this, but you know what? Being a Spider-Man supposed to be a slender build, I'm okay with that. I'm glad he's the same height. That's the main thing for now. And then of course I got this figure to go with it also, so I can have Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Now I just got to find myself a really cool Iceman. Maybe I can make my own Iceman by using, oh, what is that figure? The ice guy. Anyway, someone's going to tell me what he is. So, Brian, if you're on here, I wonder if Brian actually joined us or not. Brian, if you're there, sound off so I know you're there. I am starting to make your parts for your dungeon. So this is the inside of the window. There it is. I decided to separate it out. Hey, Sledgemaster, thanks for joining us. Now, whenever you print stuff, this is the front side or the top of the stuff. You can see there's some spots that are kind of rough that come out that I'll have to sand and coat with resin later on. But you can see right here, kind of this rough section right here. And what this is this is the supports that you have to pull off. And so the hardest part about 3D printing is after you finally get the printer all done and ready to go, you now have to pull off all these supports all the way around, which sometimes can cause your parts to break if you don't do it right. So the trick is to get all these supports off. It's good to use like a screwdriver or something and try to get them off there. But it can take quite a while to bust all these parts loose. Ugh. You can spend a long time. Now, I should get some regular pliers. They probably work better. This actually isn't too bad. Oh, spoke too soon. Yeah, I'll have to wait till after the show and get some regular pliers. So this particular piece took a day and a half to print. This giant piece, which is the top of the dungeon. And then I had to remake these so they actually fit in the holes. My original build, I had to sand them down to fit, but now I actually have figured out the correct sizing, so they just fit right in there, and these will be glued in. And you'll get to glue yours own in, Brian, so I'll probably send you 5 of these in case you lose one. And right now the skull's printing. Now the skull, this was the first rendition of it, and you can see it's got a lot of lines and not that great. But the new one I'm printing is a very high resolution in gray, which I actually used on the other dungeon that you guys already saw. So this right here takes about 2 hours to print, and it's down there right now. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys some stuff. Hey, James, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate you being here. Sledge Masters in the house. So this is actually something I 3D printed. It's kind of funny. It's actually a phone holder. Burp. Nope. See, now I can watch my own video. Now, of course, it has the case on, so it doesn't hold it very good. It's made for my smaller phones that I use for taping stuff. But anyway, so do you guys have any questions about 3D printing you wanted to ask me that you were unable to ask in the last video? So, resin versus plastic. Let's go and talk about that. So this is resin printed, and you can actually get this in solid material too. This one's also resin printed too. And a lot of my stuff I was doing at the beginning was all resin printed because that's all I had for a long time. And then my friend's like, you know what? If you want to make bigger stuff, you're going to have to get a printer that actually, you know, puts the plastic on there, an FDM printer. So that's what these are printed with, is the FDM. And this right here is the difference. Now this is set on a low res, but instead of it being resin pulled out of the vat, it's actually printed this way with the plastic being laid down like a hot glue gun as it makes it. So That's the difference. Well, this one uses light, and it basically is stuck to the surface as it pulls out, and it will have a LCD screen that just blocks light, and then it will have a giant light below there, even beyond that, which is a light that has the infrared light, and it will shine up through the LCD screen, and then where the black on the screen is not there, it will show through, and then it will actually harden the resin instantly. And that plate then moves up a little bit to the next level and then burns it again on there, and the next level, and so on and so on. Well, the bad part is because it's literally burning, you know, all the heat and everything else, you actually ruin the LCD screen. There are two things that ruin LCD screens, and that is light and heat. And being this is a chemical reaction, it creates heat against that screen on one side, and then light on the other side, which is also warm. And so you find out you burn that LCD screen up pretty quick on making big parts. So those giant parts I made for the slime pit, these huge extension pieces, because they took up the whole entire slime pit, not slime pit, the whole entire printer, that when it would print at an angle, the very top level was so high that printing that whole entire support all the way up would literally destroy the LCD screen. And so I just had to replace it recently. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, so there's only 3 of you guys on here. Must not be a very interesting show today. I guess no one's really interested in 3D printing. So I'm probably going to cut this short just because I don't have a lot of people joining. But I was hoping some people had some questions. Yes, this tiger head is cool. Somebody actually asked me to make them a smaller one, so I'm working on that. If you check out my Facebook, you'll see the smaller heads that I made. To find my Facebook, go to he-bro.com, and then you'll do that. Now, my next project I'm working on for 3D printing, like I said, is making that Zodak chair. So I still have this right here, but eventually I'm going to take and make this in 3D, and then make the cool base with the jets on it, and actually make this 3D printed with the FDM printer, and then make it so that Zodak from either the Origins or the original line can use that chair. I might make an oversized one for classics too. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But how cool will that be? Da da da! Zodak chair. Oh! All right. Actually, I got more people on there. Let's see what the questions are. Yeah, resin printers are for smaller projects. Yep, that is definitely true. They are really cool. Like the video taught Randy. That was hilarious what you wrote, man. I was cracking up. That's funny, man. Hey, thanks, James. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks for joining us, Christian. I appreciate you being here too. So, for those of you that are wondering what's going on in the background here, is I wanted to kind of make sort of the scene from the old 80s toy for the Horde. What is it? The Fright Zone or something like that. And so what I've done is I've gotten these big old plastic mountains. I have a video on this too for those that may have seen it already. And then I cut a hole in one of them. You can see that hole in there. And then I used different puppets to put in there. I got like 3 or 4 different puppets that fit back there. And I used like a sock or something. Ooh, then you can control the puppet for He-Man or whoever to fight. And then you can, you know, it kind of makes it cool, so it kind of is reminiscent. And then for the tree, my wife got this tree one time, and it was actually a lot taller than this. And she got it just basically for some kind of Halloween thing. And so I took it and I put 2 of them together, then bent the bottoms of the wires and used some heat shrink tubing just to stick on there, and then kind of made a base out of it so it can stand. And it works great to throw behind stuff. So it looks like the evil tree from the Fright Zone. So you can just kind of stick it behind there, and ta-da! There's your evil tree, Fright Zone looking thing. I mean, I don't have any crows on it or nothing, but you know, it's kind of cool in a pinch to have some kind of foliage. So there you go. And then of course I got my giant slime pit Now, I'm not making any more of these slime pit extensions, so those who didn't get it, I'm sorry, I'm not making any more right now. I might go back and make some more using the FDM printer plastic instead of the resin. It won't be as high quality, but it'll still be cool. What? It's somebody's birthday. Let's see here. Robert, happy birthday, man. See, birthdays are my favorite holiday. We'll ask you what's your favorite holiday. And really, if you had to pick one besides a birthday, it'd be Easter. But I think birthday is just so cool because it celebrates you. It is your day, your thing. So when my birthday comes up, everyone knows, you know, it's time to celebrate my birthday. And I always make a big deal of it. Usually I have a birthday week when it's my birthday. And it's funny, my wife is the opposite. She's like, oh, no, it's another birthday. So she's kind of... you know, almost pretends like it's not her birthday when it actually is her birthday. So it's kind of funny how she and I are so different on that. Let me go and pull off these supports on this window framing. So what's funny is, let's see, sector sores. Did you guys see that sector sores they made that just recently? It was for a Kickstarter. I actually ended up getting some of the figures. We'll have to do a review on those. I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to have them to go with my classics. They're a lot smaller, but being supposed to be bugs, I thought it was kind of cool that they were smaller. So it'd be kind of, you know, a fun kind of deal to have these smaller type figures. I need to get some more tools in this room. All my tools are in the other room. Ugh. There we go. Almost got all the supports off here. And so, Brian, if you happen to have joined us yet, this is your window piece. And tomorrow I'm getting some green material to print the actual body of the dungeon for you. So this actually will go on the window. And then you'll be stuck having to resin coat it yourself. Like I told you, I'm just going to send you the printed parts raw. So you'll be stuck sanding these, gluing them, resin coating them. You get all the fun work of prepping these. All right, I guess I'll keep pulling this off. You know what? I'm going to go grab my other pliers. You guys can stare at the slime pit while I'm gone for a moment. Actually, while I have you guys here, I want to show you guys something that's kind of a fun toy that I love. When I was a little kid, I saw one of these Rock'em Sock'em robots. And I remember I was like 3 years old the first time I saw one of these, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. When you get to punch each other, it's almost like remote control. As you control them, each fist is done independently. You can knock their head off, and then you got to put it back down. So my grandkids always play this, and they always go on and play robots. Well, I just finally got my youngest grandson playing the other day, and it was so funny. He started cheating, he started going, started hitting the guy's head up with his own hand. It's like, no, you got to control it with the controls. But I have wanted one of these for 40 plus years, and my wife finally got me one, and it was like, yes. Yeah, I think I've wanted one of these for like 48 years. It's a long time to wait for something. But, yeah. So, sounds kind of funny, but Rock'em Sock'em robots. So cool. And in case you didn't know, they actually made a He-Man version of it. I will show you what it looks like. Oh, there we go. Ooh, this thing's coated in dust. So here is the He-Man Rock'em Sock'em robots they made. It was based on 2000X, and my wife actually got me this first. And you control the knob, and you fight with He-Man. You have to hit Skeletor in the chest. And when you do, they've knocked off the thing. There we go. See how he just falls right off? And then once he falls off, you then move the sorceress thing one forward. And then if you get to the center point, then you win. So the idea is each person moves their peg up as they fight, and champion. And what's cool about these is if you happen to, well, back in the day when they had these pretty inexpensive, you could have spare parts for the sorceress if you ever lost yours before. So these are really fun. Now, if you notice, if you happen to have one of these sets, mine are actually switched, the spots. Usually I think He-Man's on this side and Skeletor's on this side. When my kids and I played, we found out that He-Man won more often than Skeletor. You would sit there and you'd fight and fight and fight and fight, and then before you knew it, He-Man would always have the advantage. Now, you know, because I was obviously an adult and my kids were kids, I could usually beat them, but them going head to head and having them swap back and forth, He-Man won more times. So I took it all apart and put it back together, and when I swapped them, I found out now it was much more even on how often each one would win. And I'm not sure if it was the controls or what it was exactly that made it so it was different. So I put He-Man's knob on this side and Skeletor's knob on this side. And let me get He-Man off of there for a second. Ugh. There we go. And wow, that is really dusty. But you can kind of see how it fits on there and just knocks them off. But it is a really fun game to kind of play with the kids. I haven't tried it with the grandkids yet because I'm a little afraid because they're a little rough right now. But it's funny too is if you get the sword on the outside, now you can just totally block. It's like, hey! So it takes quite a lot of effort to get the sword back on the correct side as they're fighting. But oh, and He-Man won him. Anyway, let's see some of your guys' comments. Sitting there watching me fight this. Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em. When I was a kid, it was something I wanted for, like I said, for years. And then they brought them back, and my wife finally bought me some because I've been talking about it. Now this right here, this yellow, happens to be the color of paint we painted our kids' room when they were little. We did it blue and yellow, and this paint has just been on ever since then. I could clean it off, but it's kind of cool to have that reminiscence of their bedrooms when they were little kids. So that's kind of funny. All right, Phil, you could be He-Man. I'll control him for you, and I'll be this guy. Phil against Hebro. Oh, Phil won. Good job, Phil. All right. So this came out in 2003, I believe. So I guess you can figure the math out, how old it is. Let's see if it has the date on the bottom. 2003. Hey, I was right. Look at that. All right. I'll go and set this aside. And so let's go ahead and keep pulling that stuff apart on that 3D printed piece. Where did I set it? Did I lose? Oh, there it is. So, again, when you're pulling the stuff off, be very careful you don't break the pieces that you don't want broken. And just kind of... I got some real pliers this time now, too. Real pliers. You have to be careful, again, not to actually damage... The side ones are easier. Because they go in further. Oh, well. I don't want to destroy Brian's piece. I should do it off camera so I can really pay attention to what I'm doing. So in case you guys are wondering who Brian is, he has his own channel, and it is called Nerf Curator. Nerf Curator. He used to collect Nerf stuff, and now he's doing more action figure stuff, and the guy is a great customizer. He has customized quite a lot of figures, and he's done some casting, and he's really good at painting too. So if you ever get a chance to check out his stuff, the guy has done some phenomenal work. He also has put like LEDs inside of different figures and stuff and lit them up and everything. You should make a Rock'em Sock'em Robot He-Man figure. That would be kind of fun, Everett. I kind of like that idea. Phil, beginner's luck. Well, Phil, you need now to go on eBay and find the Rock'em Sock'em Robot kit of He-Man. And what we'll do is we'll film it like this. I will film mine from this side, and you can film yours from this side, and we'll play at the same time, pretend like we're actually fighting each other, and then we'll link the videos together. That's funny. All right. Anyway, Popeye and Bluto boxing ring from my Popeye collection. It was made in the 40s, and I believe it's worth, wow, $10,000 to $15,000. Holy cow, Sledge Master, that's a lot. All right, you guys, it's been a long day. I'm gonna go and call it. I will talk to you guys again probably Friday, hopefully. Hopefully Friday I'll have more stuff closer to getting this done. And you guys can see the next dungeon being made for my friend Brian. He wants a classic size one. The big mammoth one. Luckily he lives kind of close to me, so shipping's not too much. Bye Randy. Thanks for joining us, man. We will see you next video. And someday, I'm going to actually do some Zoom video stuff too with you guys. I'll probably have a special Zoom login for certain fans. And we'll just do a cool Zoom thing. And that'd be kind of fun. That way then you guys can show me you and your stuff, and we can actually talk one-on-one instead of just you guys chatting and me reading it out loud. It's an old tin toy, trying to find a cheap one. Very, very, very rare. Yeah, I imagine an old Popeye thing's pretty hard to find. All right, you guys. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and if you haven't seen Laser Guns and Roses, check it out. I'm trying to get the hits up, and it is dying. It is not getting any hits hardly at all. It is worse than any of my other videos. I don't know what it is about stop motion. I just cannot sell it for some reason. And the video's cool, but for some reason, I can't get people to watch it. So if you like Laser Guns and Roses, make sure you share it, enter the contest by sharing it. And I will be in the contest pretty soon. But even if you don't want the figure, still share my link to it around. It is so fun to get that video viral. I mean, it's a pretty cool video. All right, you guys, like, subscribe. See you next time.